What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today I got a special interview with probably the original OG Bitcoiner. First videos telling people to buy at $1. This is gonna be fun, guys. Buckle up. All right, guys. Hey, if you're coming from Davinci's channel, welcome. If you're one of my subs, welcome back. We've just been sitting here having a great conversation about the history of Bitcoin, what it means to us, how it's changed our lives. And yeah, I don't know, part two, here we go.
Yes, exactly, man. Well, in part one, I mentioned that I'm living in Dubai, but I haven't been always living there. I've actually been living in Chile. I spent 8 years in Chile.
Yeah, man, tell me what that was about.
Well, it was great. I mean, I moved from Canada because I was like tired of being taxed to death. You know,
Oh man, it's crazy taxes.
50%.
Oof,
Right?
yeah.
And yes, and I hated snow. Man. And yeah, there was other reasons, personal reasons that I had to leave, but I left, and and I went there without one lick of Spanish.
Really? Mm-hmm. How long did it take you to learn?
Well, actually, in the first 2 years, I started to be able to go places without fear and talk to people, but it wasn't really solid. It was only when I got with a girlfriend that only spoke Spanish.
That was the motivation, man.
Exactly,
Nice.
exactly.
So why did you pick Chile in particular?
Well, actually, I read Simon Black and
Sovereign Man.
Sovereign
Yeah.
Man, yes. And when I read that, this is a great place to live because it's further away from everything, and if there's ever a collapse or problem, right, this society continues up functioning like nothing's wrong, right?
Yeah.
Because they've done that so many times. And this is why everything's closed off there, and you can see that, for example, there's certain viruses and stuff don't get in there because it's locked off by sea and by mountains.
Right. So they're in their own little bubble in a way.
Exactly.
And there's a ton of really fertile land, right?
Exactly.
Did you live on like a farm situation or in the city or?
I did visit the farm for quite some time, and that was lots of fun because I had this thing called nyachi, where you kill a lamb, right? Well, actually, you don't kill it per se, or it does eventually die, but you drink the blood. You cut this throat, and I had to drink the blood.
Was that
Fresh
a
blood.
cultural thing, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
It was good, actually.
Okay. Never had goat's blood.
It wasn't goat, actually. It was a sheep.
Oh, sheep. Okay. So, and then when you weren't there, were you in what's the big city? Santiago.
yes.
Yeah. So you were in Santiago for a while. Cool. And then what caused the move to Dubai?
Well.
I mean, I guess it's like a badass quality of life there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's actually I went there because my friends kept asking me, Chris from Crypto and Carl from the Moon. Those guys are great guys. You should check out their channels and so forth. But they were always asking me to come to Dubai, Habibi, come to Dubai.
Okay.
And so I did. Well, actually, I did have a plan to open up a business there. I wasn't planning to stay, but when I got there, right, the pandemic went full bore in Chile, and they cut everybody off. Even Chilean nationals were not allowed in or out.
Oh wow.
For 3 months.
Oof.
So I was kind of stuck in Dubai for a while.
Okay.
And yeah, so I didn't end up liking it and staying.
You just ended up hanging out. Nice. And do you travel a bunch? Like right now, are you bouncing around, or are you mostly in Dubai?
Right now I'm bouncing around because there's a lot of conferences. I'm paid to speak at different places and so forth.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like the traveling, but I prefer to stay at home because I'm 50 years old.
Okay.
Right.
Young.
Thank you.
That's a baby in finance. So in part one, we were talking about, what Bitcoin means to us, our histories. Let's talk about like the future, maybe throw out some predictions and where do you think this is headed, and you see any big, black swans on the horizon or anything that you think is going to really shake things up in the next year or so?
Okay, the biggest black swan that could happen to Bitcoin is that the encryption gets broken. Now that's freak out a lot of people because they don't understand Bitcoin. It's by design. Satoshi knew that the encryption will get broken in time. All encryptions do, it just takes a matter of time.
Yeah.
So he actually designed the system so that the encryption 1 can be replaced. It already has been replaced with Schnorr signatures. It's a new type of encryption, right? So it's not a problem if that encryption ever gets broken, because the way it was designed is that your address where you send the money is a hash of your public key. Now you're like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's dynamic, and that can be fixed. If there is encryption that gets broken, or it looks like it could be broken, it could be fixed ahead of
Okay,
time.
so let's just say you transfer some money on the oldest encryption, the one that you Satoshi used, right? I'm not going to mention the name because there's no point. But yes, let's just say that gets broken. None of Satoshi's coins will ever get stolen. How's that possible if the encryption's not broken? If the encryption's broken? Because what he did was he hid the only thing you can use in order to get the private key, which you need the public key first, and it's hidden in your address through a hash. A hash is a one-way encryption, meaning that you can't reverse it and get the value.
Right.
You could only take the value and get the hash. So once you send Bitcoins, what you do is you actually have to broadcast your public key, so the whole network knows that, oh yeah, this hash belongs to this public key, and now you're signing it with your private key.
Right.
Right. So that's how it works. So your money won't be stolen from you unless, of course, you reused your same address in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Because by design, you're not supposed to use the same address over and over again.
Yeah.
You're supposed to just use a new one every time you send money or receive money.
Yeah.
But most people do that right now, but some don't. And yeah, just so you know, even when the encryption is broken, it's usually broken like this. We found a way to reverse the encryption with the public key, and it's going to take us 6 months to do one.
Right. Buckle up, baby.
So it's like it gets broken like that,
Yeah,
basically.
right.
And so you won't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So that's a potential problem.
Yes.
Probably not likely in the next year.
No.
What do you see as a boon that could speed up Bitcoin adoption?
Well, I think what could speed up Bitcoin adoption is basically we have to get over the adoption curve, and I think we're almost there. I think the next huge run up in Bitcoin will do it for us because of two things. One, the supply will reduce the stock to flow of the supply, meaning stock to flow, meaning how much there is, and the flow is how much coming in.
Right.
The percentage that's coming in will drop to 1.58, which is lower than gold.
Yep. Lower than gold, and also, what is that, May 2024?
Exactly.
And so historically in prior halvings, we've seen bull markets start, 6 to 9 months ahead of that. So we'll see if that happens this time.
Yeah, and what was major about this is that after this halving, any other halving becomes irrelevant.
Right.
Because it's just too small.
Because the drop becomes smaller and smaller every
Exactly.
time. Yeah.
Exactly. So effectively, all the Bitcoins that ever going to be is sufficiently here.
Yep. It's already, we're at what, 18 or 19 million?
We're at 19. Closing on 20 million. So
Yeah.
it's
Basically what's out there is almost all out there.
Exactly.
And so who do you think are going to be the big buyers that drive the lack of supply, which probably will increase price? Is it governments? Is it hedge funds? Is it individuals like you and me? Is it everyone?
Well, it'll be in phases, tranches, right? I think first the general public will start to buy. Governments will try to start doing something, right? Once we jump that adoption curve. We've seen the adoption curve, right?
Yeah.
Right? Where you have like early adopters, right?
Oh, yeah.
Early majority.
Yeah.
And then there's a cavern, and then the late majority,
Yep.
and then the laggards in the back, right?
Yep.
I don't know if I got that right, but anyways, you've seen it.
Close enough.
Yeah.
And I guess the
But-
question is, because there's only less than 100 million people right now that have Bitcoin. Way less, right?
Yeah, 100 million.
And so we've got 8 billion now on the planet. What causes that to really catch up with the late majority, right?
Well, I think once we see a price action, because you know what, even though price is managed on virtually all assets, prices managed, that are available to, that are on the stock exchange or the Federal Reserve has access to it, right? So, for example, Bitcoin now is on the commodities exchange. It's an ETF, has an ETF, and so forth, and they have certain regulations for lending your money, your Bitcoin, and borrowing against your Bitcoin. So,
Yep.
but those are all part of the manipulation that they put together.
Right.
We can detail that if you want to, but let me just answer the question. As retail comes in and starts buying this up because they realize they need to, because they're looking at price, because they don't care about Bitcoin when it's going down.
Right.
It's just the way it is. It's
Yeah.
human nature.
Everybody buys at the high,
Yeah.
even though they know they should buy low.
Exactly. And on top of that, price gives people an indication, sort of like if you see a whole bunch of people running down the street and it's screaming and yelling, oh my God, we're all gonna die. You don't stop and ask why.
Right.
You just run with them.
Right.
Right. So
when there's a rush to Bitcoin, it's on.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And so what that will do is it creates the central banks. They all know this. It creates people jumping on, running with them, and saying, okay, well, why are we running?
Right.
And they're going to learn why.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we've already seen a couple of governments really start to hop on the bandwagon. I wonder who the last holdouts are going to be. Probably China and the U.S.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, you know what? They will have to accept it because throughout history, governments have hated new technology. They've hated the Gutenberg press, and they started destroying every single one of them and all the books that was created.
Really?
And that's why today we don't have books. Oh wait, we do.
Wow. So you mean it doesn't matter if the governments try to put a stranglehold on it, it's going to go anyway. I agree with that. I mean, the cat's out of the bag, right?
Exactly.
They can make it illegal, but if they do that, people are going to say, why are you making that illegal?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, because it's a benign asset, digital asset. Why should you make that illegal?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's right. You're stealing from me.
Man, what a fun time to be alive, right? Like, even as a kid, I always loved gold and like money and like just thinking about what it is, like as a social construct, right? And to think about like we're living through a time period where we're literally redefining what money is, and it's the most important thing, maybe outside of religion and family to people. It's in our everyday lives, and
It's
we're
our
right
work
in the middle
energy.
of it.
Money represents our work energy, storage.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
It stores our energy through time and space. Without some sort of asset that stores our energy, work energy, we can't plan, right? Can you imagine if we had a ruler system, a measurement system, where the government changed the numbers of the ruler every single hour, every single day?
Right.
You wouldn't be able to make buildings, right?
Yeah.
Well, the same thing happens with our current money. You're like, well, wait a second, Davinci, we're making buildings with all this money. Yes, but it's all going to waste, going badly, going to places where it shouldn't go because of the money printing. We shouldn't be building a whole bunch of houses, right? We shouldn't be building a whole bunch of office buildings. But because we could just borrow the money, which effectively prints it, we do.
Right. So a lot of people would disagree with that, right? And say like, no, debt is good because we can build those buildings. But your argument is like, do not get overextended.
Exactly.
Focus on real money, hard money, and whatever you can do within the confines of that system is what you should do.
Yeah, so for example, when you go and invest, right, you do a lot of studying, you make sure that asset will have a return.
Yeah.
When you could just print money, why would you bother doing your major due diligence?
Right. Yeah, it loses its value, literally.
Exactly.
It erodes over time, yeah.
So effectively, what's going to happen once we have hard money, there will still be lending. It's just that it'll be projects that will more often than not be solid.
Yeah, and we've seen that in China, right? With them just trying to build ghost cities, and
China's an example.
Look how that's turning out.
Exactly, and they went far overboard, right? And so this will allow for the final cleansing of our system, because right now, the ability to create money actually creates a lot of imbalances in our system. Not only with assets that are being produced, but also companies that shouldn't exist,
Mm.
and they are taking up resources such as human resources
Yep.
that can be allocated somewhere else to somebody who does know how to properly manage the assets. Because right now they're getting bailout because
Yep.
they don't have to work. Right?
It reinforces the bad behavior,
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
why we're having to relearn the same damn
Exactly.
lessons from '08 and
Exactly.
'01 and on, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So, awesome. Well, price predictions.
Okay.
People love price
Yes,
predictions,
they do.
damn it.
Yes,
We
they
got to
do.
do it.
Okay. Price prediction.
Let's
Well,
say a year from now. So
year from now.
Q4
Wow, okay.
2023. Where we at? Are
Q4
we above or under 100K?
Well, I would say the 100K thing is not going to happen for a while because they got this price suppression managed very well, very well, with the ETF and the commodities exchange.
Futures markets, yeah.
the commodities, the futures market. Bitcoin is, and also Ethereum, is the only two commodities that you can't have delivery on. Yet they're the easiest ones to deliver.
Right. Isn't that convenient? Why could that possibly be? Davinci, what's happening? You're spouting crazy conspiracy theories here.
It's not conspiracy, it's fact.
Yeah.
They don't want you to have your Bitcoin or Ethereum if you buy a commodities contract and you want it to expire with the delivery. No, you can't get delivery, but you can get cash.
There you go. Can get those sweet fiat dollars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so those ETFs are now backed up with the commodity exchange contracts, which have no Bitcoin. So this helps suppress the price.
There you go. Well, so are you thinking that until we get a spot ETF or until something changes that prices are going to stay low for a while?
Yes. So we're going to be probably in the 30,000s to 40,000 by next year.
Okay. So no massive bull run before the halving.
Definitely. No massive bull run until before the halving. So
Well, we'll see. I think on the altcoin side, there needs to be a narrative to drive it, right? So if Bitcoin doesn't go up and there's not a narrative, I'm pretty bearish on altcoins. What do you think? Is there anything that you're looking
no,
at that
all coins are actually really in the beginning of a very bull market right now. Remember what I said, that the Federal Reserve can manipulate a lot of assets, but they can't manipulate everything.
could? Right.
They don't manage art. They don't manage cars. They don't manage a lot of things that we purchase every day, like baseball cards or Pokemon cards, right? The price of those things have gone skyrocket. Well, the same with alts, because they're too small of a market. They can't manage that.
Right.
So
I guess the question though is like, what's the narrative that's driving this next bull run, right? Like 2017, it was ICOs. 2021, it was NFTs and DeFi. What do you see as like the headline stuff over the next year for alts? If you're bullish on alts, what do you think is going to drive that?
Well, right now, I think it's everybody is trying to find some sort of way to hedge themselves against inflation.
Okay. So
I
it's
think
the search
that
for
will-
yield.
Yeah, that's what it will be.
Okay.
So anything that they can buy and watch it rise, they're going to try to get that because right now inflation is clear and absolute, and the fact that they're telling us it's going to go away. I think they've lied so many times, the government, that I think their
No.
credibility might be a little bit lower.
Yeah.
Especially after the
But
pandemic.
come on, Davinci, this inflation is transitory, man.
Yes.
It's 1 quarter. Oh wait, we're way past that. Oh man. Okay, cool. So you're bullish on alts. That's interesting. So I want to be. I'm always looking for the next big thing, right?
Yes, as an inflation hedge.
I
That's
I'm
what people will be looking for.
okay. I'm sure you hear this from people where it's like, Davinci, you got lucky, man. You were early to Bitcoin. What about the rest of us that weren't early in the system? What do we do, right? Did we miss the boat? Are we never going to be able to build life-changing wealth? What do you say to those people?
There's only 100 million of us. You're not early.
Yeah.
You're early. Sorry, you are early.
You are still
You
early.
are still early.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because people, there's tweets from people in 2011 and 2012 like, oh, I missed the boat on Bitcoin.
Yes.
It's $2 or whatever. I missed it, right? It's all relative, right? And
Exactly.
And that's what I love about trading and investing is like the hunt for the next thing, right? Is like if it's Bitcoin or Ethereum or another alt, like there's always something coming down the pipeline. Humans are innovative and there's a lot of brain power working, especially like here at the crypto conference we're at. I mean, there's people that are putting their brain power into building cool shit.
Exactly. I mean, this is the place to be, because there's going to be a lot of opportunity in crypto. If you don't want to just buy Bitcoin and hold, look for your niche market in this space, because there's so much opportunities. But do you know we could move everything that we do in finance onto the blockchain or to Ethereum, for example, right? So, for example, if you work in insurance, right, and you create insurance policies through mathematical calculations to see what's the best policy for that based on the person's information. Well, you can put all that onto an Ethereum smart contract, and it automatically pay out people as needed. No more corporations or suing them because because they didn't agree to the contract. The contract is running executing exactly on the blockchain.
And how many people listening? I would venture to say like 90% of people have had an insurance claim. If it was a minor car wreck or medical bills or something, that's always a pain in the ass, right?
Exactly.
So that is a massive problem that could be. I don't know if it could be completely fixed, but it could be massively improved.
Yes.
So there's infinite of these, right? There's
That's just
so
one
many
small
things.
niche that I just mentioned, but there's so many places where you could jump into this, into crypto, and it will expand beyond your wildest dreams. Because why finance right now is, for some strange reason, is 60% of all of our economy throughout. Did you know that?
What's that?
Finance is 60% of the gross domestic product of the world.
And financial services alone are like 7%. That's just like bloat.
That's how it should. Yeah, exactly. It should be down to that 7 to 14%.
Yeah.
And that's coming with crypto, right? That's coming. But there's still going to be a lot of there's going to be a lot of wealth being moved, right? That's being transferred to crypto, and you want to be there when that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to be responsible about it. I think you need to understand like risk management and also the security side and how to properly use it and all that stuff. So don't just blindly go buying a bunch of shit coins. Like really put the time in and learn what you're doing, right?
So if somebody comments in the comment section below to buy something or call them to help you trade, they're lying.
Yeah. There's like 10 Chris Dunns in my comments right now.
Just so you know.
So, hit me up on WhatsApp. Let me manage your money. Yeah. Oh man, I hate hearing that. I think people are getting more wise to the impersonator scams, but we were some of the first guys that started getting impersonated, so we've been dealing with it for a while, but I think most people are like waking up to that shit. So don't fall for it, guys.
Exactly. And so do some due diligence, study or whatever asset you want to invest in, right? Try not to go more than 5%. Is my rule.
5% of your net worth in something,
or no, the amount you're willing to invest, not your net worth.
Okay.
The amount you're willing to invest.
Right. Your risk capital.
Yeah, exactly. Your risk capital.
Yeah. So you got your whole net worth. You've got your savings, your house, your checking, and then you've got risk capital.
Yes.
That if you lose that, you're not going to be destitute on the side of the road. Yeah. Some crypto people are like, what do you mean? I've got 200% of my net worth in crypto.
Yes. A lot of us are like that.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, this has been fun. It's good to meet you, man. Davinci is one of the original OGs in Bitcoin, and it's always good to connect with guys that have made a positive impact on millions of people.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, I've been watching your show for a while, and I feel honored that I'm on your show today. So
awesome, man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, brother. Good times.
Cheers.
Yeah.